video is about how to adopt the accent or dialect, if you will, of the flamenco style. And because we cannot, if we've been playing with a pick for 20 years, it's of course a challenge to develop this kind of flamenco-like style. It's a whole new thing, really. And so, but we can adopt the playing style, we can adopt the sound of flamenco. And how do we do that? Of course, we use the right scales, we use the right chords, we use the right kind of strumming patterns. But when we solo, there's another thing to it as well. And that is really how to phrase in this way. Of course, we know that this style of music has a very wide emotional span. We have from total happiness to total anger to total despair, and we can move from one to the other within one piece of music. And that's really one of the great characteristics of this kind of music. But there's also a way of speaking. You know, if you hear an Italian person speak Italian, that sounds radically different than if you hear someone speak English, because that culture has influenced the language and the sound of it. So within the sound of any language is also the sum total emotional content of the culture. And I know that sounds philosophical, but it's true. Because think about it, if you try to speak the Queen's English, and just see what I do to speak that, I have to change the whole way. When I say Vera, which is a name, like Vera, and I say Vera, that feels totally different than if I say Vera. And so, I hope you get my point here. And so if you try to speak like they do in the southern part of the United States, compared to the northern part, you would feel that just to be able to speak that way, as well as you can, would be a completely different feeling in your body. You have to change your facial expressions and your body language, everything. And so why is that? That's because the way we speak is an expression of the basic beliefs, the basic values we have in the culture. So within one huge country, you can have people, or just a little country for that matter, you can have different dialects, different accents that people use. For instance, Cockney English, working class English, is radically different than the Queen's English. And if you try to compare the two, just try to speak like they do in one area of the country and compare that to another kind of English, then you'll really feel the difference. And how do we do that when we play this instrument? Because we're using the notes, we're using the same words, as so to speak. So we're using the same notes, and we change those a bit. We have different scales that sound different. But it's also a way of phrasing. And what I'm going to show you in this video is a little piece of phrasing that you can use to influence your whole playing when you're in this kind of style. And so let's just drop down to it. This is the equivalent of learning to say a sentence in a specific way, in English for instance, with a specific accent. And so you can let that, you can really feel the accent there, you can feel the emotion behind it, and then you can let that influence your whole playing. No, it sounds philosophical again, but it's really not. It's really just basic, we're talking about music here, and music is emotions. So let's talk about emotions. Let's talk about the accent of this Spanish kind of music. Flamenco. This is the lick. Let me put my headphones on again so I can hear what I'm doing. And you might think that, oh, he's playing fast, but I'm really not. Of course, I'm picking fast, but I'm picking with very little precision, because what you need to do is tremolo picking and not alternate picking. Of course, it's the same thing, but here we go. You just go as fast as you can on one string, but you start a little slow, so it's a quick explosion. It's so you go. You start at a reasonable tempo, but then you push it up to max speed. And I usually say in all my other videos, all my other programs, that when you pick, you should relax, because that's the most efficient way to learn alternate picking. In this case, it's different. You are allowed to just, tense up a little bit, but don't practice in hours like this. You tense up for just half a second just to get that max speed there. And then let's pick. We're going to be mostly in A minor in these little videos. because I recommend that you really learn the A minor scale across the whole fretboard and make it really totally just integrated within the fretboard, because that is the equivalent of learning all the white keys. That is the white keys on a piano, and so it's really good to know them. But we're going to play an A harmonic minor scale. Most of us know that. And we're just going to play on the B string just for this example. So you're in the 5th, the 6th, and the 9th fret on the B string. Because that's a really exotic sounding place in the scale. So 5, 6, and 9. Those are the frets. You use your 1st, your 2nd, and your 4th finger. Then you start this little thing in the 6th fret. And here comes the tremolo picking. You start by going, and then you speed that up very rapidly. And that's the first exercise. And if you're good at alternate picking, you can do it without tensing up. So you go from mid speed to max speed very fast. And if you can't do it with alternate picking or with any control technique, you just go and you tense up just a little bit. Just don't practice like that for hours, as I said, or even for minutes. You don't want to tense up like this and then go on like that. It has no usage at all, and it just messes up your arm. So that's what you do. And then once you are up to speed, you just use the last couple of strokes that you do in your right hand to play those last 3 notes. And you do that by going, let me just do it without the tremolo picking. So I go. So, and it's a good idea to practice that first. Pick the note in the 6th fret, hammer on in the 9th, pull off down to the 6th fret again, and then slide down to the 5th. Looks like this slow. Again, I know this is far away from the camera, but you might want to expand. Download the video on my website, because that's a much more high resolution version than what you're probably looking at now. And download it and then play it on your computer, or just click the button, the download button, and it will open right away. So you can see it more closely. So, and there are tabs you can download as well. And that's what you do. So you get your tremolo pick, you start a little slow, and then you move your tremolo picking up to max speed, and then once you are up to max speed, you play, and then you stop the tremolo picking at that note exactly. So you go, and that's the only sync you need to have, is to stop right when you bam go down to that. So that's it. And then there's a little detail to it that goes like this, which is really just picking the note in the 5th fret, hammer on with your 2nd finger in the 6th fret, and then pull it off again, like that. Then you hit the note on the G string in the 7th fret, and then you go again. But that's an undefined kind of quality to it when you go. So you can go up and down in volume there. So you go. So you can do it all the way in the scale, just by going. You just need the 2 first notes on the high string, and then that note on the other string. So 2 notes on one string, then 1 note on the other, and you can whatever. So, but let's just practice it up here. So you could go. And that's exactly what's in the tabs. You go. Sorry. And you can do it on the other strings as well. And really practice, just spending time with your guitar, just doing that. And you can continue, you can do the first first little part again and again. So it's a nice little thing to sit and do, and then get into the mood of it really, and see if you can continue that mood. That I'll spare you of any dramatizations of this. See if you can continue that. Use that as a way of getting into the style, of creating a little opening there, and then feeling what that sounds like. In the upcoming program, we're going to look at a lot of things like this, and each week I'm going to give you a little idea that you can use, or actually several ideas that you can use to adopt this style of music. And again, if you're not playing flamenco on a regular basis or this kind of music, then this is really a way to broaden your options when you play. So if you're playing jazz music, if you're playing fusion, if you're playing rock, if you're playing metal, you suddenly get more options. Instead of being locked in that little box that most players are locked within, because all they've ever been looking at is their kind of music, then suddenly you get the ability to draw from other kinds of accents out there of language that you can draw into, and that's what you need to develop a unique playing style, and that's what you need to have fun really, because instead of just trying to play like, you know, what we do in the beginning, just playing like him, I just want to play like him, we can start, and that's fine, that's perfect, that's amazing, just play like him and then start from there. But if you want to develop from there, you really need to look into different styles of music and then begin to adopt these different lessons you really learn from doing that into your primary style of music. And that's not to say that you develop a whole new metal flamenco kind of fusion. It's just a matter of having more options when you write songs. You can use those chords, those scales. You can get to that really deep level of despair, and you can get to whatever. So I really advise you to look into this and really practice it, even if you're not playing flamenco on a daily basis. So those are the words for this video. Go download the tabs if you're not already on the website. Go download the video, and then I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for now.